Hi, my name is Salil Mehta. I am representing EY today, or as some of you may know, Ernst & Young. We are advisors to government departments right from the time when a minister or an undersecretary thinks of an idea to implement an e-government project until it is successfully implemented. Okay? We have been working with governments on their e-government agenda across the globe, including in Kuwait, and we are very happy to be associated with that. And personally, I've been working with government clients across the world for over a decade, and have spent last 18 months in Kuwait trying to participate and progress along with various partners on the e-government progress here. I'll tell you what this next 30 minutes is not about. Okay? It's not about EY's services, because that's not the main agenda of this conference. It's not about the various statistics that we have heard, 1 trillion to be connected, billions to be spent on IT, because others have already covered that. And neither is it about too many technical or technological depth or details, because that again is best left to the experts. But we are essentially going to cover two things. If we reflect on the e-government progress in Kuwait, what are the challenges that Kuwait is facing? What are the solutions that we could look at applying in the context of Kuwait's environment and Kuwait's society and its government setup? One. And second, if there were 3 recommendations that we could offer along with our partners here to the government of what needs to be done. And that's one of the objectives of this conference, is to provide recommendations. So we have come up with 3 recommendations that we would like to submit for consideration to help move the e-government needle forward for Kuwait, especially when we compare with the various other emerging and leading governments around the world. Right? So with that objective, let's just see how far has Kuwait progressed in the e-government era. Right? For us to understand the context of e-government for Kuwait, it's important to understand how far we've progressed. Okay? While Kuwait has done very well in many of the aspects, obviously, it won an award in the beginning of this year for its e-government efforts. It's improved its ranking, as the Director General of KITE mentioned yesterday. But there are others who are doing quite a bit, and hence perhaps we need to do a bit more. If you look at the Networked Readiness Index, now this is a regular survey that is published by the World Economic Forum, okay, along with INSEAD, a leading business school. If you see who are the leaders on the chart, you have Finland, Singapore, Sweden, okay, and if you look at some of our rest of the neighbors, we do have a little bit of a dip in that ranking, in that assessment. Again, this is 2014 data. Some of the others are doing up, the others are doing even things faster. And if you look at their 10 parameters, okay, there are few things which are going well. The ones which are highlighted in green, we are doing well as Kuwait in terms of affordability, in terms of skills, in terms of individual usage. And let me just give an example. For everybody who are in the room, how many of you all own at least 2 mobile devices? Either a phone, a tablet, or a laptop. How many of us in the room are owning at least 2 devices or more? Can I just have a raise of hands? Okay? Pretty much everybody. And that's something which is very good about our context here. Our people are already connected. And that's something which is going well, and that's what's highlighted in the survey, so nothing surprising. However, what are the areas that we need to do more? What is it that we need to focus our efforts on? Fundamentally 4 things. One is the usage by businesses and government themselves. Today, many of our departments are maturing. Many of them have been hived off from the earlier ministries. We need to focus our attention on e-government for those departments. What is it that the businesses can do? Okay? And lastly, about what's the impact? Why are we trying to implement some of these e-government projects? What is the economic and social impact for the Kuwait citizen or Kuwaiti citizen that we are trying to achieve, or for the businesses? Those are the areas I think it's time, given the progress and the good ranking at all that we've achieved, how do we take that forward in these 4 areas? We spoke about, again, as I mentioned, the Director General of CATE did mention this yesterday. We've done well, if you see on the e-government development index on our ranking. But again, as you can see, if you look at the leaders, they are maintaining or increasing their ranks, and including some of them are within our own neighborhood. Okay. If you look at e-participation index, okay, again, a data point coming out from the UN's e-government survey, we are progressing. I mean, in the sense we're not slipping further, but the others are doing more to catch up on the numbers, right? So that, sort of summarizes, where we are. There are a few things which are going well. However, there are areas that we need to devote our attention to collectively so that we can, the next time we have such a conference and we are reflecting these rankings, we all feel better about where Kuwait stands in the, in the scheme of things of the larger governments. All right. So having seen what is our progress and what are the areas of challenges, what are the specific areas that we in Kuwait need to focus on, okay, from a governance perspective? There are essentially top 5 challenges. There are quite a few, but these 5 are unique for us, okay? First is, we need to be able to impart impetus. Our governance needs to be able to drive programs right from start to finish, right? It's not only about providing attention during the procurement of the consultant, procurement of the selection of the vendor, but it's about the implementation, it's about the rollout. So it's about imparting impetus right through the program. That's a bit of a challenge for us here. Protracted procurement. Procurement times are taking longer than the usual global benchmarks for us. And when I say global benchmarks, global government benchmarks. Just to give you a case in point, there are 2 projects that we are, inshallah, hoping to embark on. And it's been 2 years and 1 year respectively since the bids were submitted, but decision is still being made. And we know that even the government departments are frustrated. Typical benchmark for governments is 6 months, gives them adequate time to be able to, do their diligence in any selection. So this is a governance challenge from the Kuwait e-government perspective that needs to be tackled, the protracted procurement. Promoting programs as opposed to projects. We all have heard about, wonderful insights that various speakers have shared so far, and they will be sharing in the subsequent session, the next session after this, as well as tomorrow. Gone are the days when people are talking about implementing one particular project or one particular automation. It's all about programs. How are we trying to tackle training? What are we trying to do in terms of promotion? Have we taken into account how much budget or how much funding is needed? What about, scalability? So the approach needs to move little larger. As compared to projects, look at programs and see what are the various elements of a program that what needs to be driven under the e-government thrust. Releasing resources, right? Successful e-government outcomes need 2 things. One is financial resources. When we say financial resources in the context of the government budgeting cycle, it's not about the fact that, and again, alhamdulillah, Kuwait currently is blessed with resources, but it's about timely availability of resources and availability of time. How many of our e-government projects or programs are we driving through a cross-functional team? How many programs are we having where we have people from, say, CATE leading it, and few other ministries, and similarly few other ministries forming their teams and driving programs? Those are the 2 success factors, and these paucity of this or not having these 2 creates challenges or hurdles in terms of the speed for doing or executing the projects. And lastly is an effective execution, right? As I mentioned earlier, it's about making sure that whatever is the core intention about the impact, social impact or economic impact, that needs to be driven in a timely fashion, right? Nowadays, whenever you drive around Kuwait, in many of our major roadways, you have a minimum speed, right? We have maximum and we have a minimum speed. Perhaps we need to inculcate a minimum speed of e-government programs as well for Kuwait. It will be wonderful, then we will be able to start achieving our outcomes even faster in a holistic manner. All right, so if these are the top 5 governance challenges faced, by Kuwait, what is it that the other governments have done? What is it that we can learn? Are there some solutions? Yes, there are. So let's look at each of these 5 challenges and see what others have done. Okay, imparting impetus. I just have 2 examples. The first one is known as the Digital Agenda for Europe. Okay, so what governments are doing is that they are creating a brand, coining a program, okay, an all-encompassing vision that takes care of various elements. So, for example, if you look at the Digital Agenda for Europe, they have 5 to 7 areas with 101, action items that have been listed there. So, similarly, a large program is needed. If you look at Singapore, okay, they have created something known as an association of corporate excellence, which brings together finance, HR related government departments, okay, and trying to do things in a consolidated fashion. Okay, so what are governments doing to impart impetus? Creating a program that cuts across governments and using that to be able to drive, monitor, and urge people to progress faster. Procurement, I think again, as I mentioned that it's taking longer than the usual benchmarks. I think there are norms and leading practices available. For example, World Bank effects or facilitates trillions of dollars of procurement that is done by government. Okay, the World Bank, I'm not talking about World Bank doing procurement for themselves. They are facilitating for governments. You have leading practices in that form, which can be applied to make sure that we streamline and make the procurement decisions faster. Promoting programs. People are no longer worried about creating multi-billion-dollar single program. Okay, the UK Home Office, for example, embarked on a £1 billion program for e-government. It spanned multiple years, about 3 to 4 years. Okay, but that's the sort of ambition that we need to inculcate and imbibe as far as e-government is concerned in context of Kuwait. We need to promote our larger programs and not just a project, not just an implementation of one portal or one mobile app. It's about a larger program, a larger vision. Releasing resources, both money as well as time, as I mentioned earlier. Just to give you some anecdote, if you see the US government's outlay, okay, not the revenue, the outlay, how much they're going to spend, in the last 2-3 years varies between 3.6 trillion US dollars to 3.9 to 4. Okay. Now, if this is the overall outlay towards IT, US government spends only 2%. Okay, that makes it, in addition to $80 billion, just 2% of the total outlays. So just imagine, Kuwait government, if you take out the, the expenditure on salaries, even if it's looking at 11 to 12 billion Kuwaiti dinars, if you were to spend annually 1%. Okay? Now, who does this spending? Is it one agency? Not at all. In the US government, out of their 26 to 27 departments, more than half have their IT budget more than $1 billion. So it's not about one department spending or one department, it's about multiple entities collectively driving their e-government agenda. So this is a learning that we can apply from other governments, making sure that the budgets are available in good scale and they are spread with various departments so that they are able to embark on their own respective journeys. Lastly is effective execution, applying leading practices, learning from what others are doing outside. People are updating their programs, right? How many instances we see when people promote their e-government programs outside from the leaders about a version 2.0 or version 3.0, right? So that's something which even Kuwait government or e-government efforts can learn. How do we make sure that we progress on the execution side and not just stick to one phase of implementation, but how do we keep continuously improving our execution? What are the challenges on the governance? So this was on the larger e-government scale. Okay, now if you bring it down to the data centers, which are used by government departments. Before we get into what are the top 5 challenges, I thought let's just present a simple way of viewing what is a data center, right? Again, we saw fantastic videos yesterday We saw some phenomenal insights from speakers. But if you were to look at an oversimplified model of how a government individual, person who's working for government, views a data center, there are 5 components to a data center. Okay? First is the physical location, right? Second is you have utilities. You have electricity and you have network connectivity. Okay? On top of that, you have the physical environment, right? You have very early smoke detection, fire, air conditioning, the physical environment of a data center, right? On top of that, you'll have your IT assets, whether it is your, the racks, your servers, storage, etc., and civil assets, which is a center for people to sit, monitor, reception. And last, you'll have the services, right, or people who are doing, offering the data center services. Now, this is the complexity that a government IT manager, a government undersecretary sees a data center. Now, what are the challenges that we are facing today from a Kuwait perspective? It's not as if there's one entity that provides all of these. Government department themselves may be owning some part of it. Some vendors may offer only part of the solution, right? So it's, even from a data center perspective, it's not something which is easy to consume, because there are various interrelated components, and at least these 5, which together combine to offer a data center service for a government department. Okay, so in that context, what are the 5 challenges? First is fragmented services, right? So the governance around data center or government data centers needs to be able to keep a view across all of those elements, because in many cases, the services are fragmented. Optimum utilization. Again, this was covered in many of, or at least a couple of other sessions. There are data centers which are built, by each department. Today, let me give an example. UK believes that in 2015, only by consolidation of data centers in the government, they will save to the tune of £300 million over 2 to 3 years. Okay? How do we learn from that? Okay? Utilization of data centers is an element of a governance challenge that we need to keep an eye on from a government-wide perspective. Scalability. It's not easy to ramp up or ramp down. Today, with technology of virtualization and SDN and cloud and all of those available to us, it's very easy for people to provide the physical location and use virtualization or cloud to expand capacity. But for the government, they would have to go through a procurement cycle, right? Another RFP. And again, as we spoke about, it takes about 12 to 18 months to get a contract on board. So scalability is not something which is easily executed for government departments. Economies of scale, shared government data centers are not easy to implement, right? And we've seen this not only in Kuwait, but in various governments who face this challenge. Let's assume that one of the agencies offers data center for multiple departments. Now, each department has its own contractual terms. Each has a separate service provider, separate applications, right? So this is a journey which takes time. Shared data centers is something which has to be very carefully thought through and designed before it is implemented. And lastly, the supply market, right? And this is especially true with, I think, perhaps more in our region and a little bit in Kuwait. The availability of vendors is far more, whereas Kuwait, we are still attracting more vendors, right? And the other challenge is that even the vendors themselves, including consultants, are only growing up on their maturity. So for example, if you see the booth and the various brochures, etc., people are offering you cloud solution. People are offering you laptops. But nobody is offering a solution for a municipality. Nobody is offering a solution for a revenue department, right? Or for security. It's an offering which comes little later. So supply market is another challenge. How many data centers, how many options do we have? Can we keep both the data center and DR in Kuwait? So these are some of the challenges that, from a data center perspective, that we need to tackle. So what are the implications? Okay, fine. So we know we have progressed, we've done some things well, we are facing a few issues. What does that mean? So essentially, to drive the impetus or progress really well, there are 3 fundamental recommendations that we have to offer. And again, we would be happy if this can be made as recommendation part of this conference going to KITE and to the government. First and foremost, launch a mega e-government program, right? Design, create, give a name that can be identified by the Kuwait departments, the Kuwaiti citizens. It serves multiple purposes of unifying efforts. People become motivated. They are keen and driven to report their progress against that program. That's what we've seen. Many of the successful governments do that, right? People who are the leaders usually have a brand, a unique program that is all-encompassing. So that's the first recommendation. Second, allocate and closely monitor budget in the next 5-year plan, right? April 2015 for Kuwait is a wonderful opportunity. We're embarking on our next 5-year plan. How do we make sure that we are setting aside an agreed sum of budget which is to be spent by the various departments, and we monitor that execution of that budget in a timely fashion, right? And lastly, create enabling capacities and infrastructure. How do we empower KATE even more to offer more services? How do we make sure that there are cross services which are used? For example, again that's an entity which has a booth here, the Center for Statistics and Bureau. They have their GIS set up. How do we make sure that that GIS is used across departments and not everybody starts investing in their zone? So we need to empower some of our departments to be able to work together. So we need to do two things: enabling capacity, okay, in terms of people, their training, whether it is hiring temporary staff, and the infrastructure. Okay, again applying some of the various tools and latest updates and trends which the other speakers have spoken about. All of this put together would allow us to collectively rise in importantly, Kuwait's own perception of its progress on e-government, and also on some of the larger world ranking, whether it's the UN or the World Economic Forum, so that we have really something to be even proud and we feel motivated to continue to even do further, right? So these are the top 3 recommendations that we felt we could contribute, and something which can be actioned as soon as starting from the next 5-year plan to be able to drive the e-government agenda forward. Okay, so just to summarize, we have made good progress. There are quite a few things which are going well. However, it's important that we focus our attention towards larger programs, setting aside money, and making sure that we're keeping an eye on timely execution, so that e-government agenda of Kuwait sees even greater success, inshallah, as we go forward in the next few years' time. Thank you. My details are here. I'm here today as well as tomorrow, and would be more than happy to exchange ideas, thoughts, and have a discussion around e-government context in Kuwait.